Hey guys, and welcome back to another review from Movie Files. My name is Elliott. Thank you guys for tuning in. If this is your first time watching a review by Movie Files, we don't do spoilers here. Just like to touch on the story, what I like, what I didn't like, finish up my score, and then for you guys coming back in, we always appreciate the love and support. So, kind of with that being said, let's talk a little bit about my experience with the Pacific Rim franchise. So, when the first one came out, I didn't get to see it at the theater, but I bought it on Blu-ray. I watch it every now and then. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of the first Pacific Rim. I like Guillermo del Toro. I love, Idris Elba and Charlie Day from Sunny Philadelphia, but I just didn't like the film. It was just missing something. I feel like Charlie Hunnam as a lead was not great. The story was just very stripped down and very bland. But again, Idris Elba, Charlie Day, the action. It kind of just, I watched it recently. I gave it like a 2.8 out of 5 on Stardust. If you guys have Stardust, follow us at Movie Files. Little plug there. But I just wasn't the biggest fan of the first Pacific Rim. So going into this one, what was I excited about? So number one, John Boyega is that guy. Like, I love everything, seeing him in Attack of the Block all the way now into Star Wars as Finn, and now seeing him leading Pacific Rim. I just love what he brings to all his characters. Then number two, Stephen DeKnight. This is a guy to me like Drew Goddard. They work a lot behind the scenes as far as television shows go, like Daredevil and Spartacus and things like that. And now Stephen has this bigger budget. I just love seeing, I wasn't worried about it because a great storyteller is a great storyteller. So I was excited about him directing this film and John Boyega. Now, going into this review here, I'm going to touch a little bit about the story, the characters, and then wrap up my score. So kind of touching a little bit on the story here. This film focuses on Stacker Pentecost, Idris Elba character in the first Pacific Rim, his son Jake Pentecost. And Jake isn't really following his father's footsteps. He kind of is in a different direction, different mindset than his dad was. So kind of with that being said, Jake is kind of recruited into this new generation of Jaegers. He has to train this younger cadets, and I'll just leave the story at that. So kind of falling on some positives here. So again, like I said up top, John Boyega, I love him. The guy's awesome. He is awesome in this film. Like, when he is the leading man, when he needs to be serious, he needs to be the hero of the movie. He needs to have comedic moments. He needs to have that suave to him. He does that plus 10. So I love, just like Idris Elba stole every scene that he was in, Boyega does his damn thing in this film, which I love. Which also, another character that he did a really great job with was this young lady. I've never seen her or anything. Kaylee, playing Amara, or I might be saying her name wrong, Amara. She is so great. This Kaylee young lady is awesome in this film. Her and John Boyega's chemistry on the screen is just great. When they're not on the screen together and they have their own individual scenes with the secondary characters, they're phenomenal in it. So Kaylee and John Boyega really are the heart and soul of this film, and they did a great job. Some other things I liked about this film was we get some really good action. That was something I walked away out of the first Pacific Rim, even though I'm not a biggest fan of some of the characters and some of the story arcs. I love how Del Toro directed the action. This isn't your Transformer franchise where you got these big robots moving so quickly and you don't feel the weight and the scale of the robots. You feel that with Pacific Rim, and you feel that, and I'll leave this in my negatives, but you feel that not to the same degree as the first Pacific Rim, but you still feel these big, huge, I'm a big Godzilla, King Kong fan, but it's monsters versus robots, and you feel that, and that's what I got out of the first one that I like, and you get this one, you get that feeling in the second one. So some other things too was going out of the first Pacific Rim. You would think I love the first Pacific Rim, but I really don't. But Charlie Day, you have him playing Newton, then you have Newton and Herman, I believe his name was. They had really good banter in the first one, and you get to see that in this one. It was just, like I said, I'm a big Charlie Day fan. I love Sunny Philadelphia, so I like seeing Charlie Day in this film. So those were just some positives for me. Again, the action sequences were shot really well, especially the third act is a really big action set piece, which goes on for not too long, but it was a really well put together action sequence, which I really enjoyed. And also some other action sequences that you see in the beginning of the film, which I thought worked really well. And then again, John Boyega and Kaylee did a great job. Those are some really positive, some things I walked away out of this film saying I just love those things. Unfortunately, it's not a perfect film. Now, some characters I didn't really enjoy was Scott Eastman. I'm not saying Hollywood wants to make him a leading man, but you see him in things like Suicide Squad as a lead. He was in Fast and Furious, and you see him in this. And to me, he was just very generic, just very bland. He's kind of typecasted at this point, just kind of the handsome, straightforward guy. And he was just as bland as Charlie Hunnam was in the first one. Scott Eastman was just as bland and boring and just one-dimensional. Also, too, going into, I talked about the action sequences, Jaegers versus Kaiju. We didn't get that much in this film as we did in the first one, which you get action, but I just wanted to see, again, I love monsters and robots, and I just wanted to see that throughout the film, obviously getting characters and having those moments, but you don't get to see as much Jaeger on Kaiju action, which sounds a little weird saying that, but you didn't see that as much in the film as I wanted to. Also, some other things too, again, I love Charlie Day's character in the first one, and his banter with Herman. You don't get that much in this one, unfortunately. You get the two characters, but they're kind of on their own storyline. And what they did with Charlie Day in this film, I'm kind of torn, because I like to see Charlie Day do something different, but it was just not what I wanted in this franchise. And also, too, just some things I really didn't like. Like I said at the beginning, the story kind of has Jake leading this younger cadets. And you don't get as much from the younger crew as you wanted. I was very surprised how much I want to see more out of these characters. Kind of reminded me of a different movie, but like X-Men Apocalypse. You see these younger X-Men, and you don't get that much from them, and you wanted some more from them. And you kind of get that same feeling with this film, where you get introduced to these younger cast and crew, minus Kaylee, because she does her thing in this movie. She gets a lot of screen time, but then you meet some other younger characters, and you don't really get that much. They were kind of underdeveloped. And also, too, going back to the action again, like I said, I was kind of split in between. You feel the scale of the robots, the Jaegers in this one, but they felt scaled down a little bit. They were sleeker, they moved quicker, which is, like I said, to me is kind of like a Transformers type of way, where you don't really feel the weight and the scale of these robots, and you really kind of don't get that same feeling like you did in the first one, which is kind of unfortunate. But, kind of with all that said, guys, I recently gave, like I said, Pacific Rim to me was like a 2.8 out of 5, which is a weird score, but it wasn't a terrible movie, but it wasn't that good of a movie. This one's a good movie in my opinion. I give this a 3 out of 5. Good action. John Boyega's great. Kaylee is awesome. This is my first time seeing this young lady, and I'm looking forward to seeing her in more things. Stephen DeKnight, I think he handles his first big budget film well enough to warrant another big budget film. Like I said, I love his TV work, but I'd like to see him doing more in the realm of movies, whether it be smaller or these big budget movies. I want to see more of Stephen DeKnight. But again, Scott Eastwood, some underdeveloped characters, where they took Charlie Day's character, and also just some of the storyline. The story in this one's a little bit more, I don't want to say complex, but it has a little bit more intricacies than the first one did. There's a little bit more stuff going on in this one without giving too much away. And I kind of like what they did with the new story, but again, it kind of hurt what I wanted out of the movie, which again, Kaijus versus the Jaegers. We don't get that much out of that in this film. But again, I walked out of this film very entertained. 3 out of 5. Very good action film. John Boyega, go see it. When the first one came out, it didn't do that well in the States, but I think this one's going to do well in the States, well in the international market, and not giving too much away, but there is room for a sequel if they want to do so with this movie. So with that being said, guys, 3 out of 5 from me. I recommend to go check it out if you get the chance to this weekend. Like, share, and comment below. If you guys like Pacific Rim, let me know, and if you guys see the second one, let me know what you thought of the second one. So before I head off, thank you guys. We just hit 200 subscribers. Me and Morgan, who's normally does the reviews with me. She wasn't able to see this movie tonight, but we really appreciate you guys supporting our content on social media, and then, like I said, on YouTube. 200 subscribers is awesome. So thank you guys, and we got much more to come. Some things to keep an eye out for. We have Ready Player One coming out soon, so we'll have a review for that. Isle of Dogs, weekly series. Every week I do a Walking Dead review, so some stuff will be coming out for you guys that you guys can definitely look forward to. So again, like, share, and comment below. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I can't wait to see you guys again shortly. Take care.